Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Potentials. And today we have Dr. Andrea Martin back on the show, and we're going to talk about
Wow. How to use and empower yourself when it comes to the mystical arts, telepathy, channeling, using tarot, whatever kind of devices that you enjoy, and just how to be more in your power.
yes.
How is this stuff done? The mysteries, and there is no mystery. We're gonna take all the mystery out of quantum entanglement.
Awesome. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
So, are we gonna start with the tarot, or are we
Well,
gonna
we
talk
can
about other
start with
things?
the different types of tools and ways that people can start to feel more comfortable in their own abilities. And I think that the first part is that there's a secret to this. What is the secret? I'm going to ask you, Linda, what is the
Oh,
secret to this type of stuff, to telepathy, to quantum entanglement? What is the
uh,
secret?
I would say intuition,
Ah,
possibly.
the secret is being able to receive,
Ah,
is being
that's
open
even
to
better.
receiving,
Open. Yes, being open.
being open
Love
to
it.
receiving gifts. That's the number one problem people have. They say, I don't get anything. It's because you're closed.
Yeah,
That's
open
and
to
because we're
receive.
not raised to understand or to feel comfortable, and everyone's going to have a different problem with this. Maybe from their parents, maybe from schools, maybe from relationships, or they
Right.
don't feel like they deserve certain things. So whenever you meet anyone who says, I'm not hearing, or I can't do this, or why doesn't that, it's because you have a sense of lack, that
Mm.
you don't deserve it. Right. And
Wow.
that's something you can easily get rid of by just removing yourself from all of this deep state. That's where it comes from. Right. All of it's not your parents' fault, it's not your teacher, it's not anybody's fault. They all drank the Kool-Aid. So it's not, pick so we never judge. We observe. There's a big difference. You observe, you don't judge. So and you need to do that for yourself as well. You observe yourself, you don't judge yourself. I I can't speak for you, Linda, but I don't know. I can ask you the question, but I know for me, that was the block.
Right. Well, that
And
that's a very I say most people have that issue because
oh,
you
yeah.
know we are programmed. It's just like that Hotel California that came to my head the minute you said that. Relax, said the night man. We are programmed to receive. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
That was a message sent to you from someone up there, either your
Yeah,
either your higher self or your guides or an ET.
yeah,
You just had a download.
yes.
That's how it works.
Yep,
Because that was perfect.
yep.
You need to reprogram yourself back to the beginning where you were open to receiving.
Yes.
And you never worry about, and this goes from his Zika. So he's my Pleiadian man. You never worry about other people. They're on their own healing journey. Now you can assist them, but you can't, what you don't want to do is go back in time and start looking at that. This is now when we think about ego, I think most of us think, and I used to, when we think of ego, we think of somebody who has a big ego, somebody who's arrogant. But no, ego can be low self-esteem. So I think for most people, your problem with ego is low self-esteem. So this is all of the inner, the way into the realms that you want to get into, the way to quantum entangle is to work within yourself and to remove all of those blocks and layers. And we all had them. We all have them because you live in a really weird place. Okay. So this is an observation, right? So
Well, and also
judging,
with low self-esteem,
yeah.
a lot of that is being too connected to your identity, to your
Yes,
earthly identity, to who you
yes,
think you are on earth,
correct.
in your life here. So when you're so connected to that identity, you do become insecure because what if it's taken away from you? What if,
Correct.
and that, so that, yeah.
And the ego identity is the fake one that's been given to you.
Right.
Or the one that you created in order to fit in certain sections.
Yes.
So when you start to understand that that is your problem, that is your block, you observe it, you don't blame yourself for it, you don't do anything else, you observe it and say, I'm going to fix that. Right. So it's very cold when you're doing this kind of thing. And you don't want to blame, I know many people have had terrible parents and all these kinds of things. I understand it, but you don't want to sit and blame them. Right. So you just cut them loose, cut them loose. And then go on your journey, fix yourself. Right. You can't, you can love them and all these kinds of things, but again, it's not about focusing on what they've done wrong or whatever. Just ignore that. Just forget about that.
Yep.
Just release it. So it's about release and receive. So once you cut through all, for me, it was self-love. That was the block. And I think for a lot of people, it could be that too, right? You don't have self-love because you're not taught to have self-love. It's all fake, right? Maybe as long as you got a good job, as long as you got good grades, and this isn't our parents' fault. If you think about that, right? When whatever you did outside of yourself, it's like a dog with a treat. For most humans in the United States, right? As you're growing up as a child, you were rewarded for those things that you did. You weren't rewarded or recognized for you.
Yeah.
Let it go. Well, we're going to change that. It's all going to go away. So that is the biggest block. And this takes, now you're getting into shadow work, and this is something everybody does on their own. And there's plenty of videos out there. I work with other shaman myself. For years, I've been going through shamanic training with a lot of different outside people. You don't need to do that. If that's your cup of tea, I recommend it. Again, finances for some people, you don't have to spend a lot of money to do this. But if you happen to have some extra finances, instead of spending it on stuff that is extraneous, really spend it on you, right? By hiring a shaman that resonates with you, right? So or some kind of, we all know who they are, like different people who are in the the healing metaphysics realm, something like that. I really personally like Louise Jones. Right? I'm not just saying that you can't use your people in your area, but the one that opened the door for me was Louise Jones. And of course my other friend Ivanilda. She no longer does counseling, but and also Rebecca Rose. And we can just I'll put their names in the comments, or we can put them in the section below, and people can, if they would like to, get in contact with those people. Yeah. Right. So, and these are the people that do like healing type stuff, right. So, really, if some people, like I had a block on me, I had an extraterrestrial blockage. You may have something like that, some kind of a like psychic, hit that you need to have removed. So that's the answer to the secret. What is the big secret around this stuff? I'm gonna like, just the biggest thing I get, is this idea. And there's so many people that do this, and it's wonderful. And everybody's able to do this. Every single person. If you're alive, you're able to do this.
Yes.
I can't do this. You can do this. If you're alive and walking around, you can do this. You don't have to be walking. You can, absolutely every single person can do this. It's not. It's just, you get to work at it to get better at it. Like anything. But yeah, and I know, Linda, we've all been on our journeys, and we all started the same way. Not everybody rolls out of bed and wow, I'm seeing visions, right? But honestly, you've been seeing these things your whole life. You just never realized it. You just, when you're a kid, it's natural. You never realize it until then somebody would come around and tell you, like, you probably realize fairly early on, depending on what kind of environment you were raised in, that, this stuff's not cool, right? Or you would probably hear people make fun of psychics and like, oh, there's a fortune teller and blah, 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 right? All the negative, that's actually a lot. And are some people frauds? Of course, like anything else, bad carpenters, bad restaurants, it's like anything else.
Yes.
But yeah, that was again, psychological operations that were used in order to, take away the reality that you can do this, because they don't want you doing it.
Right.
They don't want you in your power, knowing what you can do, being able to figure things out for yourself, understand this. And this is such a safety thing. Now you may never be wanting a telepath, or you may never, but tapping into the power of your intuition will keep you safe. If anything else, this is key to your safety. whether it's
Right.
simple as, you know, going shopping or driving. So I actually, when I'm driving, and I know Linda, you do the same thing, right? We actually start to remote view. When I'm driving, I remote view and I use energy. So what do I mean by when I'm driving, I remote view? I'm tapped into the field as I'm driving. So I know what other drivers are going to be doing.
Yes.
And I think
Yes.
for some people, if you like all this ET stuff, that's actually somewhat like how they fly a battleship. It's remote viewed.
You
So
literally, it's intuitive. You feel it. You
yes,
feel
yes, yes.
you're really kind of plugged into or tapped into the energy fields of everything and everyone around.
Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
can. Yeah. So I'll
Yeah.
do this when I'm driving, and I've avoided accidents quite a bit because I know I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll know, oh, this person in this white car coming this way is not going to stop. I know it.
Right.
And they
Right.
don't, because I've already remote viewed the situation. If
And
somebody's coming over too close, if you know they're texting or whatever, and they're coming into your lane or whatever, I'll just use my energy to push their car. I almost pushed somebody into a ditch once. You just use your energy and push them over. Yeah, I did. I'm like, whoa, pull her
you,
back.
whoops, a little too
I'm like,
much.
pull her
No,
back.
I mean, most people low key can feel it, if you're paying attention, if you're in the moment and you're not in your thoughts while you're driving, which most people are in their thoughts,
No, you're
because
right.
we kind of
Start.
tend
That's
to
a
do
great
that
time to practice. Yeah.
while you're driving. Most people tend to think about other things while they're driving instead
No,
of
don't do that.
actually
No,
paying
no, no,
attention
no,
to
no.
what's around them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that if you really did just stay in the moment and just pay attention to what's around you,
Oh, it's just
it's
common sense. It's life saving. You're in a 1,000 pound or more piece of metal going 50 miles an hour. You need to be in the moment, or you're going to
absolutely.
be in the end moment. That's mind blowing, right?
Yeah.
You're going 40, 50 miles an hour, even 30 in a
Yeah.
piece of metal.
Two
You
ton
need to be in the
vehicle.
moment.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, so but other people may not be. And so you can use your power, your intuition, your ability to manipulate field energy. It's not magic. You're manipulating energy in a way to keep yourself safe.
Well, it is magic, but it's a good magic.
It's good magic, right? This is the magic that everybody talks about, right?
Really, magic is not as weird and wild as we think it is.
No,
It's actually happens all the time,
it's
and we just
natural. Yeah,
need to acknowledge it. That's all. When you're acknowledging it, it becomes part of your reality, and you can manipulate it. You can
yeah,
manipulate your reality. That's
yeah,
really all magic is.
sure. And
Yeah.
most people don't realize that other people are telepathing all the time. So when I was like you and I, for whatever reason, we never lost this ability. So I remember being 5 years old and hearing, and it freaked me out. I could hear other people's thoughts because they're telepathing.
Yeah.
I'm not entering their mind, they're telepathing. And people do
Right.
this, humans do this all the time. So what I
Right.
have to do is I have to kind of shut down a little bit. And I work with shaman, like, how can I shut down? So I literally can't take a lot of energy. I can't be in places where there's a lot of people. It's just,
Mhm.
I can't.
Yeah.
And so they try different, I've tried different things to try to block it out. But yeah, people are telepathing all the time. They're thinking out loud. I can hear you. It's like,
Yeah.
and it ain't pretty. And it's it and it so it's yeah. But this is something I've been able to do, and as everyone is until they've been told that they can't. That is
Right.
not real. You can't do this. But because I never connected with humans, it just freaked me out as a child, and I became very frightened of humans. That I connected more with animals.
Yeah.
The telepathy kept going because animals, that is how they communicate. So maybe you have some
Yeah.
people watching who are animal communicators, or if you have a pet, whatever, right? Animals communicate through telepathy.
Right.
So that's a great place to practice where it's safe and you can just be wide open and just let it come in. Right.
Yes.
And start walking around and start seeing if you can hear people. Like, start seeing if you can just start to pick up different things. And that's being open to the receiving, getting rid of your blocks, getting open to your reception, right? And it's really, I can't stress it enough. You have to have self-love. And that doesn't mean arrogance. To me, that was like such a weird thing. I'm like, self-love.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to have that. A long, and I don't know about, like I said, none of us, interesting. Most of the people who are in this field have been through a lot. It has not been, the journey of the shaman is is deep and dark, I found out, as I was going through, I think, oh, am I a mystic? Am I this? I'm actually found out I'm a sorceress. So you'll start to find out like what it is that, so how that works for you. And everybody is different. Everyone is themselves. That's so important. You need to be you. No one's going to do you better than you. So,
And you can be a multitude of things.
Yeah, you're going to find that out. And you're going to be better. And this is one of the things, the master and servant, servant and master. You are going to be surpassing, you're probably more than likely going to surpass your teacher. So, we do these weird things, because you came in here with a specific expression of what you wanted to do, a specific gift. And your intuition, your ability to create a shamanic experience could be through music. It could be through some kind of athletic thing.
Right.
It could just be walking in nature where you are totally like you're a guide, a nature guide, and you're totally in the nature vibe. It could be, you being able to just work with numbers. You're an accountant, right?
Right.
That can be your mojo. Your ability to handle numbers through
or
intuition.
a scientist,
A
right?
cook. It doesn't.
Yes, it could be. Yeah, it could be anything. It could be actually what most people think are the most mundane things that you
Nothing's
do.
right. What most
People
people think
assume
is
that it's mundane, but
nothing's mundane. Nothing's
you know,
mundane.
if you look at like some of the teachings of like Buddhist monks and things like
Yes.
that, they start you out doing very mundane chores,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And you learn a lot through that.
It's everything's service. We are here to serve.
Yes.
You are here to serve and be served.
Right.
And it's not about anything else. I mean, and so many people have mentioned it because I work with animals all the time, livestock, so there's nothing more zen than cleaning a pasture of manure. It is the horses are there, and it is the most zen experience. Just the most beautiful thing I can ever do is sitting out there with the horses and cleaning the pasture.
Right.
And so many people say, oh, it's like it's just sitting in experience, just being in that now space.
Yeah.
So
sweeping things.
Sweeping.
That's
People
another really
cleaning.
zen thing. Yeah. It also has a rhythm to it. When you sweep, you're creating a kind of rhythm, and it's very zen.
Very zen.
Yeah.
And life upstairs is very zen. It's very old fashioned. It's very old fashioned.
Even the word old fashioned is old fashioned.
It's old fashioned. It's very community based.
Who says that anymore?
Yeah, it's so like it's all about being with your friends and your family, and it's all serving the community. That's what it's about. And everyone has a different little thing that they like to do. That their gift is. So no one's above anybody else.
Right.
You just have a certain gift that you do that you exchange.
Right.
So that's where you're going to, as you start to philosophy, your own personal philosophy, as you start to embody that, then like the Buddhists, right? Then you start, or whatever floats your boat, could be Native American, could be making a difference.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
What I learned was from the animals. I learned everything from animals, and that's even there was I have that on my website where the animals were given all of the wisdom, and from the wisdom from them we are learning. So animals are the keepers of the wisdom. So that's where I learned. So it's yeah, that's your first step. Getting into that, feeling of centeredness and self-love. Right. And for some people, different forms of meditation. work now. What people, everybody cringe. I could not meditate. It makes me cringe. I'm like, oh, I meditate. So you're not doing the Buddhist. I mean, if the Buddhist monk meditation works for you, do the Buddhist monk meditation. Some
Right.
people are better at moving their bodies in order to get it. I have a friend who moves her body. She can open up a portal through
Right.
dance. She said
Dance.
this when
Absolutely.
she is in the zone of higher frequency, it's through dance.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you're in
dance
music,
is
it
huge.
might be through music.
Right.
It could be driving.
Vibrations. Right.
You gotta be careful. You can do this while driving. You know, you can be in the remote zone of driving, remote view of driving at the same time you're accessing. I've had visions while driving.
Mm.
You know, I'm not
Oh,
going
yeah.
on. But that
Yeah.
can help some people. Know they're you know they're driving and they're at peace. They like to go on little drives. That can work. You know,
Especially on a highway where you're
something.
not,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you don't really have to focus on making a turn, or maybe there aren't a lot of other cars on the road.
yeah. And you
So
can
you
just
can
be.
just be in that moment, and yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. In times of day, right? Or you are the morning? Are you a night? Is it in the? It can be any time, right? Eventually, you'll be able to turn it on. The more you
Mhm.
do it, you can turn it on.
Right.
Um,
Because your
but
body has its own algorithm,
yeah,
you know.
you just get into the mechanics of it. And
Yeah.
you know, okay, here's how I do this, right? Um, so and anything that works, you got to find that. And I can't answer that question because every single person has their own way of doing it. Knitting could be knitting. It could be, you know, like whatever is your speed, right? So I have, you know, a little singing bowl like this. You like singing bowls, you know, frequency if you're one of those people. You know,
One of those
YouTube has a
people.
million different meditations that you can different styles. It could be I use when I'm doing work for someone, I'll usually do shamanic drumming. That works for me. You know, so it could be a guided meditation that works for you. The first ones that started working for me had to be guided, but then I was doing like color meditations where they have like you meditate on a color. So somebody who's painting, if you're an artist, right, but meditating on something like that, you just find a thing that starts to get you in that different sort of, I call it stepping back.
Yeah.
It's where I just open up to listen. It's when you really open up and listen.
Mm.
So that just takes some time, like I said, for everyone.
It's
You
like
know,
stepping back to look at a painting,
yeah,
you know, and
for
you just
me,
take it
yeah.
all in. And you take it all in. You're like, oh, I have a different perspective now.
Yeah. So you just get really quiet and you and when I'm gonna when I have you know somebody I'm working with, I just like I tune into them basically. If it's somebody like I usually work with star seeds, they want to know what star seed they are or where their family comes from. So I'll tap into their family. So all I do is just basically open up. I have them in my thoughts, and then it comes, and then I'm given the information. So the information comes into me because I'm just set into that zone. And then this is what this is. This is what this person is doing. This blah blah. You know. So going back to the beginning steps for people. And it's whatever you want to do with this is up to you. You know, I think, and I will tell people, you may be surprised what you're going to get and what you're going to hear and what you're going to see and all these, you know, it's really, really amazing. So again, my focus right now with a lot of people is finding their families, their star families.
Yes.
And it can be, like I said, and actually finding other people's, oddly enough, right, their significant others. Many people are finding out they have not just brothers and sisters and cousins and all that, but they find out and the first person that is going to come in for them is their husband or wife.
Mhm.
And if you're gay, same thing. Right? Yeah.
And
That's
like I have,
the first object because they've been trying to get attached. They've been trying to greet you,
right.
trying to reach you. And now they're like, yes, you know, and they're the first ones that come through. So again, it's developing self-love, realizing that you are love. That's creation. So I don't mean that in the sense of, oh, I mean, love is a vibration. So you have to be in a high vibration, which is the love vibration, in order to unblock and access the radio stations you're trying to get in. And that way there, as you fully experience your sense, this is what people will start to notice. And I have people all the time who says, wow, once they've been doing their own journeys in building, people want a piece of them. They start to become magnetic. the more you become in your own power, the more magnetic you become. And people will start coming up to you and talking to you and like, whoa, they want a piece of you. And your life will start to change. Because you can only attract to you because this is all mechanical or energetic. It's
Energetic.
if
Yeah,
you like physics or physics, whatever. You can't attract to you anything that you're not vibrating in.
absolutely.
You'll not
Yeah.
attract all those great things to you if you are constantly keeping yourself in a lower vibration. The only thing you're going to get is low vibration.
And if you're constantly thinking low vibe thoughts, like out of fear, out of lack, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah. And they didn't, no, and I'll tell you. So, a friend of mine found, some juicy little, I want to call them fear porn, but like it was, how we like the political stuff. What's the deep state doing? What's the World Bank's doing? Oh no. Is there, like it is interesting as a scientific or social curiosity, right? So he got this juicy one for oh, I want it. And I was watching it and I feel these hands on my shoulder. Like, but
No.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like, no fear porn. Like, yeah, but shouldn't we be showing? No, you've shown enough. So you have to be really, so yeah. I got yelled at many times for enjoying some of these very intriguing, I will have to say, broadcasts on just how bad everybody's the baddies are, they're doing the baddie stuff,
Yeah.
But no, it does. And I tell my friends, I said, yes, I said, definitely, yeah, we need to send that information out to people who aren't awake yet.
Yeah, to kind of warn them, right?
Yes, this is all the stuff you hear some say, right, but don't do it too much
Right.
and
Don't
watch where
focus
you,
on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's, and I tell my friends, I'm like, do that, but don't watch a lot of it and don't let it get to you because you
Right.
have to keep the frequency high.
That's the main thing. Don't let it get to you. I mean, if you
Right.
can watch it without letting it get to you,
Which is kind
and
of
just let it
sometimes
roll off of you and just go,
this
okay,
kind of
well,
role, right.
good to know, duly noted.
You duly know,
I'm going
right?
to keep
Yes.
doing what I need to do. As long as it
Yeah.
doesn't throw you off your,
Yeah.
your mission, your focus, then yeah.
And know your limits. You're not going to say that this is the biggest thing, especially those Pleiadian star seeds. You're not going to save the world. You can't save the world, And we suck in every single problem everybody else has. I'm like, oh, I want to. You can't fix the world, right? But you can just do your job, stay in your place, and raise the vibration, and be that magnetic person, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to remind ourselves. Like, I know I can't watch the people in the Middle East getting blown up. I can't because it's got to get in there, and I can't.
Right.
The minute
I
it comes
can't
on,
do
I
it.
change the channel. It's like,
Yeah, I
animal
can't watch
rights.
any kind of
No,
violence. I can't.
no,
I just can't
no,
take
no,
it.
no animal stories. No, no, no,
No, no,
no,
no.
no. So yeah, that can be a
You know,
thing too. Like, what are you watching? Right? Are you,
we can't
certain
we
movies?
can't
Yeah,
fix the world by ourselves, but we all have a role individually in bringing, peace to the world and bringing,
right.
healing to the world. And
But
it's going, it is
that's
happening as we speak, and we all have a role individually in it. But
yeah,
no one person can individually fix the
right.
world.
And what's super important is you don't do it in anger. And you're gonna have, we all have emotions. I mean, because everybody has emotions. But you can't. Sometimes we'll see activists and they're all angry, and you're done. You're not gonna do anything in that state. You
No.
need to be in the magnetic high vibration state.
Yeah. I mean, it's understandable that you get angry when you first
And
find
everybody,
these things out,
yeah,
right? You're first
yeah,
discovering it, and you're like, those fucker, like you want to,
right,
you
yeah,
want to bash their face in at
yeah,
first, but we
yeah,
know that
yeah,
doesn't accomplish anything. So
right.
yeah,
But you're gonna, right. I'm not saying you shouldn't have. You have to have emotion. Everybody has, but
correct,
have the emotion, put it aside, and then move on with your life.
right,
Right. That's yeah. That's everybody has, everybody, obviously that's, you're here to experience an emotion, but not to exist in that it's just not going to help you, and that you're not going to help anyone else either. So it's, it's a lose-lose. So, and
Right.
and that's up to everybody and how to, to look at themselves that way and say, okay, what can I handle? What's too much? What do I need to. So, the next step, of course, is understanding that no one is more powerful than you. Everybody's powerful, every single thing, right? Don't look at other people, what they're doing. You enjoy what they're doing and say, this is lovely. I'm glad this, I'm going to enjoy what they're doing. But you don't compare yourself to them because you're
Right.
not them. You can't be them. You'll never be them because that doesn't, you'll always be a lousy somebody else, but you'll be the best. So
Yes.
that's the, there you go. Right. So you're the best at being you, right? And that's your gift, right? This is what the extraterrestrials are. They're the best at being them and
Yeah.
bringing them to you as a gift. That's what they do. They're so amazing because they're them. They're each person is their own amazing person, and they bring that to you. And then you bring, see, you're cheating people. When you don't bring the authentic you to other people, you're cheating them. You're a facade. You're a holograph. Nobody wants to be around a holograph. What's so magnetic again about extraterrestrials? Because they're them. And then you become you and everybody's happy. Right. So,
Right.
Linda's magnetic Linda, you're you. That's, so, and it was funny because the first time I saw your video, that's an example of the first time I saw your video with Evan, I'm like, oh, she's like, Evan, who's that lady? He's like, oh, that's Linda. Like, Linda, that's Linda? I'm like, yeah, I thought it was some it's like, oh my God. Yeah. Why? Because you're authentic. Right. And there's a lot of work that goes into that. So in a vision, I was shown how these energetic interactions work. And they gave me the infinity symbol. So it's a constant sharing, giving and taking, giving and taking, giving and taking. Right. So
That's
you're giving, and so a lot of people have probably, we all know, right? We're givers. If you're a giver, if you're a nice person, you're the giver, right? Don't do that anymore. Right. It's give and take. You give and take and give and take and give and take. Right. Right. So and that's quantum entanglement. That's how quantum entanglement actually works. You don't have to understand it. I have like the tech knowledge of an acorn, So, but you don't have to I mean, if you enjoy learning about the tech, enjoy, right? But quantum entanglement is what you're doing. You're quantum entangling. So you're sending out a blip and you're getting another blip back. Those two blips have to happen, right? That's the.
If you're visual, it looks like this.
Yeah.
It's a push-pull at the
Yes.
same time.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm visual. That's how I.
Oh, me too. Yeah. So what are some of the tools you can use to begin? So, and like I said, everyone is different. So try different things. Does it work for me? Give it a little bit of chance. Yep, I like that. Or nope, it's not working for me. So my gateway to this was through tarot. Right. So you can use tarot. People use crystals. When you use the crystals, you need it. I'm gonna get to the next step about that. Certain crystals will work for certain things, and certain people need certain different crystals. Right. I love this one. I wear a lot I'll wear one as well. This is smoky quartz. What are you wearing?
Crystal quartz, quartz crystal, clear. Yeah.
Clear. I love clear too. Yeah. So you pick one that works. If crystals are your jam, right? Sense, smells, very powerful for divination, things like anything. If I love it, it really opens the door. Sense, candles, if you like that, right? For some people, I guess I said movement, so it may be dance. You think about indigenous cultures, the Sufi, right? Movement, right? Is that your thing? Go for that, so try that. Being in nature, I don't work well in nature. I mean, I have telepathic nature. It's just because now I can do it anywhere. But I mean, I'm too like in nature to like, I'm vibing in nature. So it's hard for me to do it in nature, but that may be your rock, right? Maybe sit in a tree, something like that.
I'm definitely all about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And what kind of sounds work for you, right? Or does sound work, right? Either you playing an instrument that you play, singing, something like that. singing bowls, tuning forks, stuff on YouTube or whatever you like, some guided meditations, whatever. And like I said, meditation, it's the one that works for you. If the Buddhist meditations work for you, do them. If they don't work for me. And even the earth's resonance doesn't work for me. It might work for you. So find the frequency that you'll know right away. Play it. That's what I'll do. I try different things all the time. And I'll play it for like a minute. I'll be like, nope. Even though the video says this will make you blah, blah. Like, no, didn't do it for me. Whatever they tell you is supposed to be the frequency, it's what works for you. Right. That's part of it, right? Don't let other people tell you what to do. You tell you what to do. That's the key in working through some of these things. Animals, of course, animals are telepathic. So work with animals. That if they just are, right? And it's a very safe area in which you can do that. Birds, anything, if you don't have your own pets or something like that. So the first thing I worked with, when you come with tarot, I mean, just for those people who like tarot, and I still do tarot today for divination and connection. A lot of times they'll tell me, get the tarot. I'm like, okay, get the tarot. And they'll tell me which deck to use. I'll ask which deck, and they'll say this one or this one. Okay. So the fairy deck was my first deck that I worked with. When you get your deck, you want to just spend your time go through every single card, take the time, work through every single card, and play with them and get your energy. You're going to bond with your deck.
Yep.
You basically quantum entangle with your deck.
Yes.
The tarot itself doesn't do anything, right? What it's doing is assisting in you focusing on a message. So that's how the deck works. And you can ask it any questions you want. And yes, you and I know, working with it, and all the people who work in tarot, you can't make this stuff up. You can't. This is amazing. So before I was able to connect with my extraterrestrial, they were the higher. Now, your general physical extraterrestrial isn't going to be able to connect with a deck. However, your higher self, non-physical groups, whatever you work with, they are going to be the ones that are going to use this to do the connecting that you need, right? So they're going to be the first ones to bring you through, right? So for me in this deck, if something was extraterrestrial, this was the card that they were using. And how do I know? Because when I asked a question, this card popped up, they said, you hear this. Okay, this is an extraterrestrial magic, or this is an extra something like that. So the cards in your deck, when you look at them, this deck. When you've asked your question, and either I only use jumpers. You shuffle, you just go like this, you hold it like this, and whatever card jumps out, that's how I do mine. Other people do spreads or not, whatever you want to do. So you lay them out, and then you look at them, or you just look at, if say you ask just for one card, you look at the one card with your question, and then you'll start to hear things. Like, huh, right? You'll start to hear things. Okay. And sometimes you'll hear, get the book. So people they've turned using tarot into like something you need to get a master's degree in. Nothing in this realm requires any study.
Yeah.
It only requires you using your intuition, which means Absolutely. You preparing your body to be a conduit to the message.
Yeah.
And that can be too if you want to channel. I personally don't channel. I don't allow beings to use my body, but you may want to. And there'll be different sensations that come through when you start to channel. And I know a lot of people think, oh, it is not baloney. It is real. So I've been channeled, like, so Ika channels me. He puts me through him. It's like he channels me and I'm in his body. If he's coming through me, like sometimes, or if he thinks I need to telepath, if we're doing a podcast, and I say, if anybody has any questions, I know he's here. I can feel him. If you have questions, he'll come. I'll let him come through halfway, so that I can be in the present with the people around me, but still have this one. Usually, it's my right side. Things will come through my right side. The 9 come through my right side, and you'll start to. So that's what you want to start feel. You may feel heat. You might feel cold. You may feel vibration. You may feel different. You may feel your body. I know when the 9 are ready to talk to me, when they're coming through, I start to lift. They start to raise my vibration. I start to feel this almost warmth that comes through my body, and I start to raise my vibration, and I start to separate from reality. And there's a certain amount of, and they on my right side too, I feel really warm. And they really start to kind of just like, almost like ocean water, just like coming through, right? And it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. When Ika comes through, like you'll come through on my right side, it'll get my leg. I'll start to like rock sometimes. If you start to feel that, let that happen. So while you're doing meditations or you're working with the cards, you need to relax your body. I recommend everybody just try doing this in their meditation when they're sitting quietly. You can close your eyes, however you want to sit, doesn't matter. Maybe laying down for some people. I can't lay down, but some people, if that works. You allow the energy fields around you to start taking your body. And it'll just start, you'll feel it. And this is, I think, the best thing people can do. Sit quietly and just leave your body completely loose. And then just start letting the energies move you. You're going to start going like this. You're going to be like, so when I'm channeling for a client, a lot of times that'll start to come through. So the higher the being sometimes, or the more dense the information is, or the more I have to go to another planet or something, I'll just work through it like that. I'll let it come through me. When it's a being, like a physical being, like it's Ika, I don't like, it's up to the people. I only allow them, and Louise Jones is the same way. She channels. You can watch her shows. She's in control of the channel, right? I only allow them to come in a little bit halfway on the right. So for me, it feels like my body, I'll start to kind of rock a little bit, like just get real nervous. And then this one leg, my one, I'll have to keep that energy going when he comes through. And my right leg is usually the one that's like, I'll just keep going like this. And especially if somebody's asking him a question, then I'll just keep the energy moving. Because I can hear his voice, and I bring that into you. So wow. People may want to channel, do it. I think you really love it. Automatic writing, that kind of thing can work for some people as well. Yep. It's fun. This is so much fun when you start to, it just makes life amazing. Okay, totally makes life amazing. And you may want, we're all into ETs and stuff like that, but I also can see, ghosts, of course, too. Some people may want to lean more in that direction, working with deceased, right? Working with elementals, those kind of energies as well. So energy is energy. It doesn't matter what's coming through. For me, ghosts were where I started. So I was seeing ghosts. You see, so people understand, like you see, so when we see, you see behind, I tell people what, you'll see it behind your eyes. You'll see the images behind your eyes. If you're bilocating, you see the inner images when you close your eyes, you'll see it, and you'll also see it when you open your eyes.
Yes.
So that's really neat. But for most people, it's just astral. Astral can be, well, you'll see it in your mind's eye. It doesn't matter. You see everything in your mind's eye anyway. I mean, your eyes just gather information. You don't see with your eyes. Yeah. You see with your mind's eye. Now, some people will see images. They'll see, but you can't. Not everybody will. It depends. Clairsentient, claircognizant. What are you, right? You'll find which is yours, right? So beginning some of this stuff, the simplest thing for you to do is to do the yes and no question. I know, Linda, you had your experiences with the
Pendulum.
pendulum.
Yes, I show you the pendulum. It's a special kind. I don't just I mean, you can use a quartz, like the necklace I have, that's a double terminated quartz. You can use that as a pendulum as well. Like if I don't have my pendulum with me, this also works. And a lot of my pendulum types of necklaces do work that the same way. But this is a special pendulum that I have that is, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's called a Kareem, I think Kareem pendulum.
Yep.
And I got it's there was a certain man who invented this shape. It's this very specific shape. And it's made of brass.
Mm.
And so it works very, very well. When I ask it yes and no questions, it really takes off. Like
Yes.
I barely even, I had just got it. It felt my energy right away.
Right.
It connected to me
It's yeah.
immediately. And when I first started asking it the questions that you know the answer to is how you program it first. You know, you ask it like, do I have brown eyes or are my eyes brown? And then you figure out which, that's how you know whether what the yes or no is, because you know your eyes are brown. So if it goes in a circle like it's doing right now, that means yes. And so then you ask, are my eyes blue? And of course it goes no. So that means
No.
no.
Yeah.
So, it's very obvious. And I'm not moving my hand. I'm not making
No,
it do
no, no, right. Absolutely.
it. It literally just does it on its own. And it's the coolest feeling.
Yeah.
Um, just to know that. And then, you can ask it whatever you want.
Yeah.
But most of it, really what it is it's connected. It's like training wheels for your intuition,
Yeah.
because you're going to ask questions that you probably already know the answer to, but you just are kind of not sure. And
Yeah.
so
Absolutely.
really you're intuiting, a lot of these answers. So it's nothing to be afraid of.
No, no. Well, that's all part of the psychological operations. You should be afraid of this. Don't touch that. That's nonsense.
Right, right. Yeah, nothing
That was
weird
just
or creepy
control,
has happened because I have a pendulum and I'm using it. Like
No,
no bad things are happening to me.
no.
I'm not like seeing weird, I don't have things floating around my house now, which actually would be cool if it did. I mean, I wouldn't be
I
scared
mean, there's
anyway.
nothing wrong with that.
But
Yeah.
like nothing weird is happening because of that.
No,
So
no.
it's really fear based. They're trying to make you
It,
afraid of it.
of
And then if
course, of
something
course.
bad does happen to you, they want you to associate it with the fact that you were using this and that,
Correct.
oh, that's why.
Correct.
But that's not
Yeah.
the case.
It's them get controlling power, right? No, no, it's not gonna, not at all. It's because you're always in a higher vibration when you're doing this.
Yes.
You
It's
have to
really
get,
about
you
intent.
by its nature, have to get
Yeah,
into a high
yeah.
vibration in order to do this. It's
Right,
just
right.
how it works.
Or it won't
That,
work.
right. Now,
There's
people,
times
the
I've
more
asked
you
the
get into
question
it,
and it
yeah,
won't go. If it feels that I'm not, for some reason, feel like in the right, it won't even work.
it won't even work. No. Now,
Yeah,
the more you start to work with different people and everything like that, you will encounter, negative, darker things. And that's part of the job. And
right.
you just get rid of them. You're out. And I've had a it was it was a book actually. There's a story. It was a book I was given and I was reading it and I started to, and this is how you'll know. I started to feel kind of disconnected. And I was being drawn to the book. And I was drawn to this book. But I started to feel like weird shifts in time space. But not in a good way.
Yeah.
Started to feel weird. I'm like, this thing's, I'm like, well, maybe I'm just this, getting an upgrade or something. But I felt off. And then while I was reading the book, I started to get really disconnected, and I started hearing like what you would call demonic voices. I said, whoa, I said, hey, out.
Yeah.
I took that
Yeah.
thing and I threw it away.
Yeah.
So yeah, You know, you will, and of course, understand, remember, you're protected. You're protected. So
Yep.
I have cast out negative things and they will go. I work with Pleiadians up from the Pleiades. They're like shaman, what you would call here shaman, and they work with me. So I have other guides as well that will come in and work. And you do, everyone does. So as you go through this, you will start to see your guides. And you already have them, they're already there. You're just going to be able to realize that they're there and see them a lot closer. And the more you do this, like every day, the more you can do this. The more it becomes natural, the more you can kind of just click in on stuff, the more it'll start to become real. But you really have to keep doing it every day, every day, every day. You know, and for the yes and no things, I asked, you know, that's a great, I always say, kind of starter drug for people. You know, so if you have a couple, just for an example, I mean, if you're going to buy a crystal, right? So I'm going to buy a crystal, right? You're in a crystal shop or whatever, or you're just looking online, whatever. You just like, where are you drawn? So you just let it, you don't think, which is one of my gifts, not thinking. You don't think, and you just like, this is my mojo crystal, this amethyst.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Rebecca Rose, she's like, oh my God, you bought a crystal with you from the Pleiades. I'm like, and I'm like, I knew which one it was because I picked this out as a child at a science museum. And she's like, you had this crystal came with you. It's an amethyst. I'm like,
Yep.
my friend Patrick, who's also Pleiadian, he was, when he was a child, he found this rock and he bashed it open. It was an amethyst.
Wow.
Those kinds of things. Those are your star family
Yep.
reaching you, showing you. This is my mojo crystal. So there's always one. So when you're going to the store and you handle the crystals, you know, and you just yes or no. Does this feel right? Yes or no.
Yep.
And you keep going next to yes or no. You don't go by what people tell you, right? You need them, blah blah. You know, no, because I have crystals here that are nothing. They don't work for me. They're not in my, you know, they're just not in me, you know.
They're
So
not with your energy field.
they're not with my energy.
Yeah.
So you have to find the one that is, that works, that is with you. What kind of, you know, you just try it. People make this stuff harder than it is.
Right.
That's the, and it's, of course, that's a great way to make money. If you,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
won't be able to do this. No, yeah, it's really, really, it's just intuition.
And
Just
your energy can change too. Like for
can,
example, you know, you in the moment may need to feel like you need an amethyst that day. But the
yeah,
next day you may need something else. You know, you may feel something like I every day wear a different
yeah.
one because it depends on what
I ask
I
which
feel.
one, you know, which one do I need?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can feel it. You can
you can
feel
feel it.
which one you need you
Yeah,
want to work with that day because
yeah,
they literally work with you
yeah. But it
every
for me,
day.
it's an intention. Which one do I need now?
Yeah.
So I bought the Eye of Horus, and so one morning I had a vision. Horus came to me. Get the Eye of Horus. So I got the, you know, so when your
Yeah.
visions come to you, what is there something they're trying to tell you?
Yeah.
You know, so the visions can be very clear, they can be whatever. They just come in.
Mhm.
Whenever, you know, whenever
Or
they're
just a
coming in, they're
feeling.
coming in.
It's
Yeah,
just like a gut feeling sometimes too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And what realistically, most of what you're going to be feeling in the daytime is your intuition, is your guides.
Yeah.
Part of the psychological operations is, oh, this is your imagination. This is not your imagination. It is not your imagination.
And also your imagination is really that's what it is your
That's what it
intuition.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with having an imagination. They've made it so that imagination is a bad word or like
Yeah. Right.
it's
Right.
negative.
That's the
Imagination is actually really a good thing to have.
yeah.
And you should really work on your imagination
Yeah.
or work with it.
Work
In
with
a,
it. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, if you're hearing voices, you know, that's not your imagination. That's someone coming through. Start working with that. If you're seeing faces, those are people coming through to you. If you're feeling stuff in your body, those are energies trying to come through. Start letting that energy in. Start letting it in, and then it'll come. Really. And when I tell you, one day when you least expect it, whoa! Yep. It's bam. It's gonna be there. You just gotta let it. You just gotta let it happen. Just allow and practice like anything. You practice and practice and practice and practice, and it gets better and better and stronger and stronger. And you can. And we all go through the doubts, because when I would do talks on disclosure and I wanted to have a telepath communication, I'm like, geez, please, I hope somebody comes through with a telepath, and they always do.
Yeah.
Because it just will. And the more wins, I think we're all like that. The more wins you have, the more wins you get. But not to be, some days aren't your best. Like I know, like some days not my best day. If I'm tired or whatever, this is not going to be my best. Sometimes they still come true, So
Yeah.
it's never doubt. This stuff is real. If you're alive, you can do it. That's what you need to tell yourself. This is real. It's science. It's science. This is what you need to do when they come. They're already here, obviously, but when we really in the open come.
Yes.
Because it's telepathy.
Right.
So
and
this
is also another thing that people need to understand is that science is magic and magic is science. They're the same thing.
They're the same thing. So these tarot cards themselves are just like the crystal, where they're assisting you in focusing your energy to quantum entangle. The cards themselves do not do anything. They're just a tool for you to use to get the message. And like I said, the message comes through the card because you focus on the card. You're relaxing your mind. You're opening up to pick up that frequency. That's what's happening. You're opening up to pick up a frequency. So it isn't magic, and that these things, it's not, it's like, that's, again, that's all the psychological operation that we've been fed so that you don't use this stuff, or that you fear this stuff, or that you see it in a negative light. And that's just not the way it's meant, is those are people who are taking away your power.
Right.
And that's a shame, it's so yeah, anyone can do this. Nothing's bad, nothing's wrong. That's what you need. What works for you? What do you want? Do you want a channel? Do it. Go ahead.
What do you feel drawn to? Like
what do you
whatever that is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes it finds you. You should, like, geez, I have a knack for this, or I have a knack, this is really where I'm picking it up. But everyone needs to understand that not only your higher self, but all of your guides, all of your ancestors, again, for us who are the, big, if you're into ETs, whatever, your family upstairs, your family here that are extraterrestrial, they're trying to communicate with you. There are non-physical beings. Those are the easiest. The non-physical are the easiest. And because they have so much more energy. I mean, a Venusian in physical form as we are, just like us, right? Their energy field is nowhere near a non-physical, a Pleiadian non-physical elder, right? Something like that, an Andromedan council or something. That's big, and it's easy for them to send you all that energy. So you'll probably start with them. Again, you don't know, if your love for, say you're Venusian, right? And you have a wife on Venus, right? Your love is so powerful, the quantum entanglement will just really connect. I ask questions too. A lot of people don't, like, oh, I was doing it and I got some stuff, but it wasn't all coming through. I ask questions. What do you want me to see? What do you want me to see? And then it comes in stronger. What are you trying to tell me? Where should I go? What does this mean? Any,
Yeah.
whatever the question, if you can't see it, they're trying to show you, say you're, oh, I don't know, you're on Sirius B, right? And you're talking to some officials and they're showing you some paperwork. You can't see it.
Yeah.
You're there, you're here, you can't, like, you just soften, just quiet, and just say, I can't see this. Show me, I can't see it. Show me. And before you know it, it's going to come in.
Right. I've
Yeah.
had
So
that experience with lucid dreaming.
lucid, yeah.
Yes, where I have tried to see something that was in my hand, and it was right in front of me,
Yeah.
and I could see it, but I couldn't focus on what it was. And then I just said, "Show me. What are you trying to show me?" And
Yeah.
then it zoomed in on it. I could
Yeah.
see it.
That's it. Yeah. Like when
Yeah.
I was telepathing in the post we did yesterday, they took me on a Pleiadian craft, right? So when I'm telepathing, people are like, well, what did it look like? I'm not looking around.
Yeah.
I'm working with an energy field, whether it's an actual ET or it's a non-physical group.
Right.
And I'm interacting with them and I'm saying, what are you telling me? What do I need to see?
Right.
So they
You're not
focus me
focusing
on the
on the
console.
decor.
No, I'm focused on it's just like I can sense what's around me.
Right.
I could see the rest of the ship, but I'm not focused. I'm like focusing on what message they're trying to give me. So all I really could see was the console.
Right.
And then I'm just listening. They're like, this is what
Yeah.
you need. This is it. This is what we're trying to do. So, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's how that works. So I think when I was talking to Valthor and Venus, it's like I'm not walking around the park. Like
Yeah.
because you're focusing your energy on the message.
Right.
So I'm focusing. I see the bench, like I know I'm sitting on a bench. He's sitting on a bench. I saw his wife Jillian come by. I'm focusing on him because I'm hearing him,
Right.
and that the different, like what I actually didn't even see what he's wearing. I know he's wearing clothes. I don't know what he was wearing,
Right.
you know. So it's weird things like that's going to be your experience. And then you can go back, you can, I wanted to see what that area of Venus looks like. Then you can go back, but to make sure you
Oh,
really want to,
exactly.
like, because you're literally just focusing on what it is, right? I was on him, on what I had to tell him, what he wanted to tell me, you know, and we were both in the astral. He was in the astral.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, don't worry. Sometimes you're not meant to get the information. You're only going to go so far because it's not time for that information yet, right?
Yes.
So yeah,
True.
that's it.
Right.
Just do it.
Just
That's
do
it.
it.
Just do
Don't
it.
don't
Just do it.
get caught up. Don't get hung up on the little details and all the little, like, don't get frustrated if it doesn't happen when you want it to happen. That's
No,
all. You just have to let it happen. Just have to allow it, and that's basically how it works.
yeah.
Oh,
And believe what you get. That's it. It's not going to be generally, some people, I've had people have big experiences, but don't, it's very gentle.
yeah.
It's very
It
gentle.
it comes to you with your energy, whatever your energy is what they work with.
Yeah.
So if they feel like they need to be gentle with you, they will. If
Yeah.
they don't, they won't. It's everybody's different.
Everybody-
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But
well, um, I just uh I just want to thank you for coming on and sharing all of this information with us and your experiences and sharing their wisdom with everyone.
well,
And
they come through me to
yes,
to show this is what it's all about. It's I'm just a conduit to show everyone how amazing they are, how much they're loved. Like you are, this is about you. This is about the people watching. This is
yes,
about you. This is about you coming into your own power. It's so, and I can't tell you enough. It's so critical that you come into your own power.
right. It is also critical what you just said about knowing that you're loved.
Yeah.
knowing that that's what this is all about. It's
It's
coming
about
from love.
you.
Yeah,
Every message they bring is for the love they bring through me when they're giving those messages is for you.
yeah,
And it's just in love and it's given in love. And they just like, that's what it is. It's not talking down to you. It's just beautiful, like a wave coming in from the ocean. They're just hugging you. I mean, I'm just, like I said, I'm just the vehicle and you can be the vehicle. I want more people. This is the goal. More people have to start, being the vehicle
right.
because you'll have
We're
a
just the
unique
conduits. We're just the ones that they
ingredient.
are,
Yes.
because we're open. You and I are open for
Yes.
them to express themselves through,
Right. Right.
and that's what they need to do in this realm.
Yeah.
So until we can all just see them and,
Yeah.
and interact.
And in the comments, tell us what you've been doing.
Yeah.
Tell us what you felt. Tell us what you've experienced. Put
Yes.
those in the comment section.
Yes.
Fill that up with all the amazing things you've had and the different sensations that you've had, so people can say, "Oh, I felt that too." You know.
Yes. Thank you for that. Yes, because I feel like it's important for us to all realize that we're not crazy, and
Oh,
that,
that's nonsense. I mean,
and
that's
this is,
ego. That's people
yeah,
can say whatever they want. That's their life. That's their purpose. They can do that. It's not in my. It's not in my field.
this is a safe place for you to express yourself in my comments, just so you know.
Absolutely.
Anybody who wants to express themselves in my comments and say, this is what I've experienced, this is what I've felt, do not be afraid to do that. I will not tolerate anybody coming into my comments and saying anything against you. If I do that, if anybody does that, I will definitely I will delete that comment and I will block them.
You
I do
know,
not tolerate that. Zero tolerance toward anybody
you're
saying that you're
not going to.
crazy for feeling these
You're
things.
never going to build 5D. You're never going to get there. You're never going to interact with extraterrestrials until you start understanding. This is about love, it's about compassion, and it's about number one, service. Service to others, and they serve you.
Yes.
You will never create 5D and you will never resonate on any other planet until you understand that it's love, it's humbleness, it's service, and it's honoring the source energy and the majestic experience that all beings, whether it's a squirrel or a rabbit or your neighbor, possesses.
Right.
That's
And
it.
it's all love. It's all love. It comes from
Without
love. So
yeah.
that's all I only tolerate love. And it's not
Well,
tolerating.
if you
It's
want to,
I
if you
very
want to
much,
create, if you want to ascend in evolution, you have to be in love. You will not, you will destroy, as we said yesterday, and as the extraterrestrials remind us, civilizations that do not evolve into love are no longer.
yeah,
If
you have
you
to
want to eradicate humanity, resist love. And
be in
you
the state
will.
of love.
Well, you
Yes.
won't because we're not going to allow it to happen. But you won't.
Yes.
But yeah.
So everyone, feel free to comment and like and subscribe. And also I'm on Patreon as well. Patreon is it's Potentials Podcast. And Andrea is also on there too. So we have a lot of other shows that we'll be doing and in the future. So come back and check it out. And again,
Frank Chili.
yes, Frank Chili
Frank
is
Chili.
going to be back. We're going to have him again. And so many other people. So Zoe, my friend Zoe from the UK,
And Tracy,
uh,
who's an author from
Tra-
Australia. And yeah,
Tracy and Lorraine. So there's a
Rain.
lot coming up, and we look forward to seeing you come back. And we love you. Just keep that in your heart. Don't forget that. Ciao for now.